Douglas. I'm a principal with Macpherson Kelley Lawyers, specialising in occupational health and safety. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of the OH&S Handbook, an Honorary Fellow of the Safety Institute, and I'll be speaking to you on the third day of the Safety in Action Conference on Zero Harm, the Safety Swindle. I think safety conceals more about safety performance rather than revealing how to behave safely for a number of reasons, but primarily because the language of safety has become so impenetrable. Safety practitioners, as they move towards professionalism, have developed a language and style, just like lawyers have done in the past, which is meaningless to any of the people who have to operate it. They're using acronyms that change so regularly, so what is a safe operating procedure could have 8 other different acronyms now. And most employees don't get the first one, let alone the second, third or fourth iteration of what is the new language around safety. Safety must find a language which is understood by the people who work on the floor. Zero harm is an odd concept, and it does come from a hope. It comes from a CEO desire or hope that nobody will be hurt. It goes down to a safety professional who then works out what they can sell as a slogan, and they make zero harm. And zero harm derives from a new reality, which is all incidents are preventable, which is an absolute myth. All the safety legislation has as its defence that all injuries or incidents are not preventable. But too often we see a translation of what a CEO wants down to a reality which just mythologises a path of action. In the last 5 years we've seen, prior to the recession, an absolute boom in the Australian economy. And as a result of that, we've also seen a growth in OH&S and a growth in OH&S legislation, which imposes liabilities on directors and CEOs. So for the first time, CEOs are reaching out to safety. When they reach out to safety, previously a bolt-on to a business, and they say, I need you to do something very important for me. I want you not to hurt anybody. There's an immediate devolving of responsibility, which is unacceptable from the CEO. But the only translation to get money out of the CEO for a business that's otherwise been ignored for the OH&S is to create a slogan that's appealing to the CEO. And we got zero harm. And from zero harm, we got this mantra that all incidents are preventable. Now, we know human beings, we've had kids, we know that that's not life, and the best laid plans can injure people. But sadly, that's where we've got to. And as a result, the workers in those environments totally distrust the management argument that all injuries are preventable. They know that people get hurt, so they don't believe zero harm. So without definition of what zero harm is, all we're doing is perpetrating a lie which is disenfranchising our workforce. So in a simple term, leaders must lead honestly, with integrity and predictability, and must be achievable. And workers must know what is being said is true, know they are meant to be involved and want to be involved, and know it is realistic to be involved. And when that reality exists, we'll move towards less harm. I think at the moment in the businesses that I've dealt with where there's zero harm, there's an enormous amount of discussion about how successful, commonly around lag indicators. They say, look at our LTIs have dropped off. Look, we've got less absenteeism. And what we're not being showed is the level of concealment that grows as a result of that operationally because of the KPIs for various officers not to injure people. But are we seeing safer workplaces? No, we're not. Do we see workers saying, yes, I'm committed to this new culture of safety? Actually, no, we don't. And the result is workers feel disenfranchised from the one thing they should want to own the most. So once again, if you create a language which is unrealistic, which is desired by management, which is a mythology that exists around life, workers won't buy. And you'll get an increase in unionisation, a greater union presence in safety because they're the people who now own it rather than the owners of the business. And in time you lose the engagement in production, quality and all the issues and innovation that you need in business. You lose that engagement simply because you're told a lie. I think the most important thing for people to understand in an engagement model is slogans are important. In any form of marketing, whether it's external or internal, slogans are critical. Whether it's a creed, a slogan, people must be able to say it to believe it. But if you're going to use something like zero harm, and that's your desire, you must tell people what zero harm means, and it's not zero injuries. Admit that it's an aspirational goal. Admit that there are measurements you're going to have which are real measurements at a floor level. And most importantly, grow the idea from the workers rather than impose it from above. So the real engagement model in safety is always having workers acting safely and believing that they're acting safely and believing they're acting in their own and their friends' best interests. Around about that stage you get safety, and the slogan will start to ratchet up and start to have real leverage. But if it's not their slogan, it won't work.